So in this example, we are going to look at how we can solve a problem relating to what we have just studied, which is how we can compound two forces acting on a body. So if you look at these questions, we are looking at two forces of magnitude 6 Newton and 8 Newton act on a body. So we are going to determine the resultants if the body, if they act parallel and opposite and then perpendicular to each other, as well as at an angle of 60 degrees between them. So this is what we are going to look at that. So from the question number A, we saw that they are acting parallel to each other. So when forces are acting parallel to each other, how do we compound it? We say we add the result, the two forces. So which means that the resultant force is the sum of the two vectors. So that means that A is going to be equal to 6 plus 8. So, and that gives us 14 Newton. So 14 Newton is the resultant. So now coming to B, so how do we solve B? So the B, we can see that the two forces are acting parallel and opposite. So how do we compound the two forces when they are acting parallel and opposite? So we say we take the difference between the two forces. So here we are now going to say 8 minus 6, and that gives us 2 Newton. So 2 Newton here is the magnitude of the resultant because they are moving in opposite direction. Now the next one is when the two forces are acting perpendicular to each other. So how do we solve it? We say that in compounding two forces that act perpendicular to each other, so we use Pythagorean rule. So what is Pythagorean rule here? We know that Pythagorean rule is saying that here is 6, sorry, here is 6, here is 8 Newton, 6 Newton. So the resultant is going to be like this. So we use Pythagorean rule. So and then R is going to be square root of 6 square plus 8 square. So and that gives us square root of 100. Square root of 100. So and the square root of 100 is 10 Newton. So that means that when two forces act perpendicular to each other, we use Pythagorean rule to solve it. Now, the next one, which is the last, is when the two forces is now acting at an angle of 60 degrees between them. So when they act at an angle which is not 90 degrees, so we use the parallelogram law. So and the parallelogram law is saying that when two forces act at an angle of 60 degrees, so we complete it a parallelogram. So and this is 60 here because here and here these are parallel lines because they are parallelogram. Okay, so here is 60, here is going to be 60, and that's what we call corresponding angle. So then we take the diagonal of the parallelogram, and that which is going to be the resultant. So here is going to be 180 minus 60, which is angle on a straight line. So 180 minus 60, of course, is 120 degrees. Okay, so using the cosine rule, so we say that a square plus b square minus 2ab cos r. So AB representing the magnitude of the forces, so which is 3 Newton and 4 Newton respectively. Okay, so substituting here, we can see that 3 square plus 4 square minus 2 times 3 times 4 cos 120 degrees. Okay, so here we can actually see here that 3 square is 9 plus 4 square is 16 plus 2 times 3 is 6 times this is 24 multiplied by cos 120. Of course, cos 120 is going to be minus 5. Okay, so we have minus 2 times 3 times 4 multiply by minus 0.5. So taking the square root of this, and that gives us the the resultant force for the two forces when they act at an angle of 60. So when you just take the square root of that, you have your result.